to the Bible study. I'm Reverend Birgit Goodrow, and we are now in Genesis chapter 17. And it is very straightforward, and it's about a covenant with the Lord and about all the men that need to get circumcised. Abram is now 99 years old, and I'm going to read in the verse 2. And I will make my covenant between me and you, and will multiply you exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with you, and you shall be a father of many nations. No longer shall your name be called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham. That's the name that we all know. For I have made you a father of many nations. I will make you exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of you, and kings shall come from you. And I will establish my covenant between me and you and your descendants after you and their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be God to you and your descendants after you. In verse 10, this is my covenant, which you shall keep between me and you and your descendants. After you, every male child among you shall be circumcised. And you shall be circumcised in the flesh of your foreskins, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and you. I had this pictured in my mind a little bit. I have 2 sons, and all I can say is, yikes. Now in verse 12, he who is 8 days old among you shall be circumcised, every male child in your generation, he who is born in your house or brought with money from any foreigner or who is your descendant. He who is born in your house and he who is bought with your money must be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. Then in verse 15, then God said to Abraham, As for Sarai, your wife, you shall not call her Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name. And that's the name that we all know her by. And I will bless her and also give her a son by her. Then I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of peoples shall be from her. Now we know that God made a special covenant with Abraham and Sarah. He changed their names, and also this covenant was made through circumcision. Verse 17, then Abraham fell on his face and laughed, and said in his heart, Shall a child be born to a man who is 100 years old? And shall Sarah, who is 90 years old, bear a child? And Abraham said to God, Oh, that is Ishmael might live before you. Then God said, No, Sarah your wife shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his descendants after him. Now that was really hard to believe for both of them, but they trusted the Lord and believed in the covenant that he made. Now this covenant was also a constant reminder that the Blessed One would come from this line, from the line of Abraham. Now we know through this lineage from Abraham that our Christ the Lord was born. And I'm going to continue to read here in verse 21. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah shall bear to you, and this set time next year. So he even told them exactly when Isaac would be born. Then he finished talking with him, and God went up from Abraham. So Abram took Ishmael, his son, all who were born in his house, and all who were bought with his money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin that very same day, as God had said to him. Now for me, it's a little hard to imagine that everyone in Abraham's household was circumcised in one day, knowing that there was over 300 in his household. But on the other hand, I know that Abraham was very organized, and he had good servants and workers, and it probably was possible. And the covenant through circumcision was very important. It was a reminder of the promise with God. So please join me again next Wednesday in Genesis chapter 18. And please hit the subscribe button. And this channel, if it does grow, it's going to support a pastor and congregation in Pakistan. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. So I want to say thank you, blessings to you all, until the next time.